And then we're going to talk about this. James Gunn says that every DC movie will have a completely different tone. And I think that is kind of taking a page out of what Marvel was trying to do at one point. They've since fallen off of that, but they were doing that for a bit. And I thought it was very successful when they were doing that. So this is what he says about the different tone. James Gunn has revealed that ideally he wants every movie in the DCU to have its own stamp, which involves ensuring that they all have a different tone. Superman may be the first ever DCU movie, but that doesn't mean the bright, optimistic, arguably a little corny and relatively family-friendly world inhabited by David Cornswell's Man of Steel is going to inform this franchise going forward. While all the planned DCU movies and TV shows will be part of the same shared universe, director and DC Studios James Gunn has made it clear that he wants every project to feel different from a tonal standpoint. He said, it's this movie. It's really important to me that every movie has its own stamp. The movie is very different from the R-rated movie we're making, a body horror movie with Clayface. It's very different from Sergeant Rock movie that we're developing. It's very different from Supergirl, which is a space fantasy. Greg Gillespie just walked by here a second ago, who directed that. So every one of these movies is completely different. What I love about DC Comics and the graphic novels is that they allow the individual artists and writers to create their own projects, and they each had their own voice. Long Halloween, All-Star Superman, Dark Knight, Watchmen, those things have very little tonally in common with each other, except for they're part of the set of the communal characters that are in the DC universe. And now we're doing that same thing in the DCU. A sound strategy if you want to offer fans as much variety as possible, but it might become an issue once it's time for these characters to begin sharing the screen. That was my question. Gunn also touched on how horror-inspired the Clayface movie is going to be, and he said, it's pure effing horror, like totally real. Their version of the movie, it's so real and true and psychological and body horror and gross. To be fair, a lot of Marvel Studios projects do vary in tone, at least some degree, but not to the extent that it becomes jarring when we see Doctor Strange, for example, team up with Earth's Mightiest Heroes in the Avengers movies. What do you make of Gunn's plan for the DCU? Great. That was my question. My question is, okay, so you're going to do a movie like Superman, which is, again, like a Saturday morning cartoon, and then you're not going to do that for Batman. You can't do that for Batman. I'll tell you this. I don't want to see that kind of tone for Batman. I don't care how different they need to make it. I don't want to see a Saturday morning cartoon for Batman.
I think what just happened in that comment, because you're right. This is something that the MCU was doing for a while. Think about it. I mean, The Winter Soldier was like a spy political thriller. Guardians was kind of the anti-hero, ensemble. Ant-Man was a heist film. Like you right. Did tap into that for a while. So he's not really reinventing the wheel here. But that comment to me actually feels like he may have just tipped his hat that they're probably just going to let Pattinson play Batman in the DCU.
You think?
I think that may have been what that was. For some reason, my gut is telling me, because the Batman is such a tonal difference from this, that almost feels like a way to be like, surprise.
Right. I mean, but that's where I really agreed with what Josh Wilding said there all the way around, right? It's like Marvel, yes, they did different movies, but it was never so extreme that you didn't feel like they fit in the same universe, right? So like Ant-Man, clearly it was a crime thriller. It was a heist movie, heist comedy. You felt it fit in with everything else, right? As you mentioned, Winter Soldier, darker movie, fit in with everything else for sure. The warm weather is beginning, and juggling vacations, visitors, zero routine. Hydro brings me back to that structure so I can get it quick. I can get efficient workouts that keep me feeling grounded no matter what the calendar looks like. Hydro to me is kind of the secret weapon for a full body workout. It's like 86% of your muscles, arms, legs, core, all of it. You knock it out in 20 minutes. It's super efficient and it actually works. So one thing that I really love about it is you don't get bored. Hydro, it has so many workouts, it's got tons of workouts. Actual Olympians are telling you what to do, and they're filmed in these gorgeous outdoor spots all over the world. It makes it way easier to stay motivated. So if you're on the fence, there's free shipping, a 30-day risk-free trial. That alone is perfect. Hydro offers a full year warranty. Honestly, there's no pressure. Try it out. See how it feels. So a lot of people getting a good sweat in used to mean hours in the gym. But with Hydro, I do it all at home, on my schedule, 20 minutes. On the weekend, it's the best. Rowing on my Hydro, it gets me that full body workout ever having to leave my house. So convenient. I just have it set up in my place. And I was like, okay, weekend, can I get out? What am I doing? We're busy. You know what? I have 20 minutes. Boom. In my house, convenient. Hop in the shower afterwards. I am good. So skip the gym, not the workout. Stay on track with Hydro. For a limited time, go to hydro.com. Use that code Kristian. Save up to $475 off of your Hydro. That is HYDROW.com. Use the code Kristian. Save up to $475. Hydro.com. Code Kristian. But if you get something like if you're making what the hell was the movie that everyone loved that I thought was just okay with Demi Moore that she gets nominated for the Oscar?
The Substance.
Yes. So the Substance is essentially what Clayface seems like it's going to be.
Right.
If you have the Substance in the DCU next to Superman, right, and you start to if the Clayface movie can be similar in tone to you believing that where Batman eventually fits into it, how do you then put that Batman and those people that you were in that world with Superman? How do you do that? And I get that's going to be, it's not impossible, but that's going to be the challenge overall with the different tones. And I think Josh Wilding said that well in his article, but it's like, that's a major concern. It's like, how are you going to make those two? Because if you do Robert Pattinson, you bring him in and he's in the DC, because that was my thought the other day was, you can't do Robert Pattinson now. I mean, compared to Robert Pattinson and David Corenswet on screen together, that Superman and that Batman, it's like, how does that work?
I don't think you can, but that's why I think this quote was a way for Gunn to try and
make it
preemptively say this might be happening. Like, that's the only reason why, because like, again, he did not say something that was not already the case with Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like that was something that they were doing, and they still kept it up a little bit recently, but not to the level that they were specifically around phase 2. Because I mean, people would make that argument like Shang-Chi was straight up a martial arts film, but you set it in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? Like,
and well, that's a great analogy also, or example. Shang-Chi was a martial arts movie for the first two halves.
Yeah.
Or the first half of the movie, and then the end of it just turned into a Marvel fantasy movie. Because like, well, we got to stay with the same tone.
Well, it's similar with Quantumania for all of its faults, one way or the other. I mean, the one thing that we both agreed on originally was that it was like, this is really a sci-fi epic, and then again, you kind of tipped your head into the Marvel thing. So I would make the argument that Marvel kind of lost a little bit of the sauce of being able to keep the tone throughout while having it be a Marvel property. Versus we started with the tone and then Marvel. Because we said that about WandaVision. We said that we were like, what is this kind of crazy mystery going on? Like, this is the Marvel. Like, that's the thing. I'm not saying I don't want Marvel elements to it. I'm just saying that, like, if once you pick a tone, keep the tone, which I will give Agatha all along a little bit more of credit that they were able to keep it throughout.
I'm not, I don't think I'm there, because I think that I'm all for you trying something different. I was like, look, if you can make tones different and make it work, then great. If I believe that, if the tones are different and I believe that they exist in the same universe, then you've done the magic trick. It's just, I just think it's not easy. I don't think you have to stay at the same tone.
No,
I just think that you got to
find out how to blend them.
You have to find a way to blend them, and you have to make me believe that if you're going to do Robert Pattinson, I don't think that they're going to be honest, but if you're going to do Robert Pattinson, you have to show me how this R-rated, I think it's R-rated, is the first one.
So.
It is, right? The first Batman was R-rated. At least it sure felt like it.
It was PG-13.
Was it really? Wow. Okay. So a movie that feels like a David Fincher R-rated film.
Okay, The Penguin was a TVMA, which is essentially R.
Right, and it's the same universe, right? That's the same universe. So if that show and that movie are in, how would you eventually put Colin Farrell's Penguin on screen with that Superman? That's what
or interacting with that Lex. That's the other thing that's interesting, is because Lex is the mastermind, and he does remind me of the Superman animated series meets Gene Hackman for sure. I think he did a really good job there. But no, I agree with you. I I don't think that using Pattinson is the right move. I just think this quote, that's what's pushing me in that direction to feel like, oh, is that what he's doing right now? Because I don't think you needed to say that, because I think that was something that was already implied, knowing that we have seen that before.
And look, here's another show that fits in it. Peacemaker is definitely rated R, and, and clearly those characters are going to exist in this world. So how does it all work? I like that it's exciting enough that we get a chance to find out. You know what I mean? Like, I will say that's what to me, that's what this movie did for me. Maybe not everyone else. Even if, and this is a question for people. Here's a question for people in the chat that saw the movie and didn't really love it. Are you checked out of the DCU? Are you done? Do you not want to see where it goes, or are you curious to see actually where it goes now, even though you didn't love the first one, love Superman?
Could you put like a poll? I'm curious if we could do a
Luke,
poll.
and I don't know if I think PLD's gone too, and I don't have time for that.
No, I get it. I was just curious.
But yes, but they could. But I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what people thought. Anyway, the tone. What do you think? Should it be the same tone? Should it be different tones? Can they make that work? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.